This month has absolutely sucked for me. It's probably the worst time of my life, and I needed something to cheer me up, and I've been meaning to rewatch Tremors because it's my favorite movie. So I did. It gave me an excuse to just throw it in and watch it. I enjoyed this movie before I even realized that I liked horror stuff, and I mean, I guess this isn't like the scariest movie out there, but it's a really good monster movie, and it does a lot of horror concepts I think better than a lot of things. And I think one of the best parts is 90% of it is during the daytime. So it's like, it's not like cheap, like, oh, I can't see anything. Oh, dang, jump scare. Suddenly there's something scary in front of me. Like, no, it's like there's good suspense, there's good build up. I guess that's kind of the same thing, but whatever. And, much like a lot of other monster movies, it's really good at not showing you things until it's the right time. It follows Val and Earl, I think, is the other character's name. I know Kevin Bacon is one of them. I don't remember what the other guy's name is, but I mean, I don't know actors, but they're basically handymen in this tiny desert town, completely cut off from the world except for like one road. And they just go around, they do some odd jobs, and then all of a sudden, like they're ready to leave. They're like, you know, the freedom here is nice, but the fact that we've got like no money and we could do so much better with our lives, we should leave. We should go somewhere else. So they're gonna go to Bixby. I don't know what state that's in, but so like the day they decide to leave, they're like, okay, we're on our way out. We said no to some work. We're gonna go this time, and then they find a dead body. And this is kind of the start of where things go. I guess before that, they meet up with this student from a university studying seismology, and she's like, "Is there anything going on that might cause all this seismic activity?" And they're like, "I don't know." And like up to this point, Val was like, "I need a woman who's tall, blonde, green eyes, and legs that go all the way up." And like, so then of course these two like have this romance that happens by the end of the movie, and I mean it's okay. It's not like the best romance I've ever seen, but it's somewhat satisfying. So yeah, they're on their way out of town. They find a body, and then each time they find several more bodies, and like each time it brings them back to town. So they're like, "Well, crap, we can't like get out of here." And like it gets more crazy each time they try to get further and further. Like first time they find someone who's just dehydrated on an electrical tower, and then I think it's I don't remember what the second one was. The second one was either the sheep farmer or it was I think the sheep farmer was the second one, and then they go back and encounter like a car just buried under the ground, and then they try to leave again, and then they encounter these construction workers that they had like just seen, and now like they're dead. And like up to this point, you see nothing. You just know like these things are either low to the ground or they're under. Like, well, actually, by this point, you figure they're underground because people keep getting dragged under, and then you finally see like as they're driving away from the construction site, they have like they catch the snake head on their back like axle and bring it to town, and it's like up to that point, like you've seen nothing, so it's like, well, this snake thing is weird. What is this? And might I just say, like the special effect design, it's like all practical effects. Well, just about. I think there's a couple things that aren't practical effects, but even when it's not practical effects, it's used in a practical way. But for the most part, it's all practical effects like puppets and whatnot, and they look really good. Like I think they hold up really well. They're really convincing. I would almost say this is kind of like Desert Jaws in a way. Yeah, so they find the snake head, and then they're like, "Whoa, this is crazy!" And they're trying to figure out what these things are, and then Val and Earl they're like trying to leave again. They try to leave so many times, and they just can't get away because of these creatures. And then they're finally like, "Okay, we got to get out of here. The truck's busted. The road's gone, so we need to take horses, I guess." So they try to take horses, and then the horses get spooked, and then the horses get eaten. Well, one of the horses get eaten. I think the other one runs away. Um, and then they have to get away from this monster by ramming it into a concrete wall. And they finally killed their first one. Like they finally see like a full dead one, and these things are just like massive. It's just a big old massive worm with these like tongues that are like the snake thing that they found on their back axle. And so the seismologist, I mean, she's not like a biologist or anything by any means, but like she's kind of the one who's like trying to put the pieces together, even though that's not her area of expertise. And they just kind of slowly figure out how these things work, and then they have to like survive, and then they have to try to escape again, to the point where like they find they can't escape unless they try to kill them, which is difficult on its own. And early on in the movie, they show all the ways that people make noise. It's pretty subtle for the most part. Like there's just one kid on a pogo stick, and it's like, okay, kids like pogo sticks. Oh, she's got like 600 pogos. That seems like something a kid would do. This one kid's got a basketball. He's just throwing it against stuff, because what else is there to do in a small desert town of like 50 people? And it's just done so masterfully, because then later in the show, actually, well, just throughout the movie, they, people are making noise, and then that's what attracts the creatures. And you just kind of see them slowly figure things out. Even though like early on it's kind of obvious what's going on, like you see them figuring it out, and it's cool. Like, and then once the creatures come to the town, there was this machine that was busted earlier, and it was just making up this like horrifying noise, and now it starts doing it again. They're like, oh my god, we got to stop it. And then they end up having to get off on the roofs, and just it's great. And then probably one of the best parts of the movie is Burt Gunner, who is the crazy conspiracy theorist and gun expert, and he kills another one, and oh my god, it's just so great. And then at the end of the movie, they just start blowing them up with explosives, and it's just like nice. Oh, I almost forgot. Like the first. This is a PG-13 movie, so a lot of the lines, as much as I like the movie, I will say some of the lines are kind of not the best, because it's PG-13, so we've got to we've got to be a little limited in our swears. So they get the one F-bomb for any PG-13 movie, and it's such a good one. Like it happens when they kill the first one, and it's just like, yeah, that's satisfying. But then they like should have used it later and just made it a hard R, because there's lots of blood in this, oddly enough. Like there's dead bodies, the creatures have their own blood, and it's just like, how is this not a hard R movie? But yeah, so aside from like the kind of cringy like pseudo swears for the most part, or like the very frequent like more mild swears, like it's okay, it's fine. I still like a lot of the dialogue. The acting's really good. And apparently people liked this one enough that it got multiple sequels. I just found out are there like 7 now? I don't even know. But it's just like, I don't know. This one for sure was my favorite one though. I remember liking the second one, and then the third one was like, okay, maybe stop after this. And then they just kept going apparently. But this first one I really like. It's my favorite movie. It's a near perfect monster movie, and I never get tired of watching it. It's a shame I've been so many years without rewatching it, but again, I needed something to cheer myself up, and this was the perfect way to do it. I'm happy. I'm gonna probably do like a movie marathon with a friend of mine who we're just gonna rewatch all the ones I've seen and then watch the ones I haven't seen, and I don't expect much, because like the first one ends so well. Just everything's satisfying. It's done. It's good. And then it's like, oh, guess what? They're back, because like they literally have a set number in the movie, and they go through all of them, and it's like, okay, they're all gone. So now there's more, I guess. I don't know. Either way, this movie's great. I really like it. If you like horror movies or monster movies of any kind, like this is definitely a good movie. Wouldn't say it's perfect best movie ever, but it's definitely my favorite, and I really like it. So yeah, thumbs up from me. Anyway, thank you for listening. I hope you have a great day.